Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be sharing with you the first episode of Empower Your Health, Empower Yourself. This is such an amazing journey that I'm hoping to take you on and to share with you so many wonderful things that are to come on how to become more healthy and how to empower yourself. So, to start, the first question that I really wanted to focus on and answer was, what does it mean to be healthy? And something that I've learned during this pandemic is that a lot of people don't really understand what that means. They think that because they haven't been diagnosed with a medical condition, because they're able to run a marathon, or because their blood pressure is normal, that that's what it means to be healthy. And although some of those things are great aspects of your health, that really doesn't define healthy. So let's talk about it a little bit more. And so, really, the number one thing that I want everyone to understand is that knowledge is power. And hopefully, we can share a little bit of some basic knowledge on what it means to be healthy to empower you. And to really emphasize that it's important to make sure that when you're learning about your health, that you're using reliable sources. And, as a medical professional, I obviously have access to a lot of medical journals and I'm able to use those resources, but I encourage you to do the same. I think that most of these resources are available to the public, and that's really a better resource than social media, for example. So that's number one. And so, for my basic knowledge on what it means to be healthy to provide to you, I want to talk about what it means. It really means all of our organ systems working together in an optimal way. And what do I mean by that? So, for example, the heart and lungs are interdependent. They need each other to function. The entire body needs them as well. And so, when we talk about making healthy lifestyle choices, we need to make sure that all of these systems are working together. And so when we make a decision, for example, to quit smoking, which is a great healthy lifestyle choice to make, not only does that affect our heart or our lungs, but it does affect our heart as well and our blood vessels. So those are some things that I really want everyone to understand and take away from this. The other thing, for example, is like our GI tract, which is this conglomerate of immune cells, believe it or not. And, it really takes in a lot of our vitamins, all of our vitamins and minerals, and we need that working in an optimal way as well. So the three things in order to have good physical health that we need are proper nutrition, a healthy exercise routine, and my favorite, practicing mindfulness. And this is my favorite because I think it's the most difficult for most people to achieve, unless you're Deepak Chopra or Oprah, who have been practicing this for decades. It really is difficult and has to be practiced on a day-to-day basis. So that's why I make it my favorite, because for me, it's something that I have to practice daily. So let's talk about proper nutrition. Proper nutrition really means what we put into our bodies is providing us with some nutritional value. And I think when you look at it that way, it makes it simple. So every time that you put something in your mouth, what kind of nutritional value is that providing? And that's pretty basic, but we're going to go into more details on one of our next podcasts with a licensed dietitian who will give a lot more knowledge, tools, and mindset in order to achieve your health goals. So the second one that we talk about is a healthy exercise routine. And that's really different for everybody, and everybody is at a different level. So we'll definitely go into more detail with that as well, with a personal trainer that can provide some more information. And the third one, practicing mindfulness. That's also something that we have to practice every day and that we'll be able to learn more about as well. So those are the three most important things. So when I talk about our physical health, I want to discuss how can we check our physical health today. So what can you do today to check in on your physical health and make sure that you are on the right course and taking the initiative to do what it means to be healthy? And why is that important right now? I definitely have seen that in this pandemic with COVID-19, it has made the difference in people that get severely ill and people that are able to stay at home, quarantine, and get through the disease process. So I think it's more important now than ever to understand what it means to be healthy and to make that a focus of our lives. So one of the things that I'll have available to you in the show notes, as well as on our blog at vitayamd.com, is a fit test that you can do today to check your score. And there's some simple options that really help you just in 1 minute see where you are and maybe even set some goals of where you want to be. And the other thing is making sure that you're going to a doctor's appointment every year. And I know some people in their 30s, 20s are like, why do I need to go to a doctor? I'm healthy. I encourage you to go to a good physician that will ask you the right questions on whether or not you are doing preventative care, what kind of family history that you have, and maybe what specific tests need to be done for yourself. And also, it's really great to get some basic blood work and to also have your vital signs checked in order to ensure that everything is working in an optimal way, like we discussed. So that's something that I strongly recommend, as well as listening to your body is really important, and you know your body best. And an example for me recently was for the past 6 or 7 months, I have been having some lower back pain. And I have lived with lower back pain my whole life. I have an L5-S1 fusion. And so I just thought it was my typical lower back pain. And something it started to become more nagging. It just didn't feel right. And I started to nurture it a little bit more, but I think at some point I really had to make that decision to find out what was really going on. So unfortunately, I did find out that I had a herniated disc in my L5-S1 as well. So now I have the knowledge of what's happening in my body, and so I can obtain the tools in order to help it heal, and also the mindset, which is very important, of understanding that my body is not working optimally at my spine and what I need to do in order to achieve that. So that's just an example of how I apply this method to my own life. And the number 3 that I would say is important to check in on for yourself to see whether your physical health is in line is your energy. And energy is so important. It really tells you where you are. If you wake up every morning depleted, then of course, this can mean that you're not getting enough sleep at night, but it could also mean something else. And, getting that cup of coffee in the morning is probably part of 90% of all of Americans in the world. But also, are you having to grab a second cup of coffee a day or an energy drink? What is your day like and how are your energy levels? And if you're constantly functioning under energy depletion, then that is very concerning and can mean something more critical. It's definitely something to mention to your physician. So those are 3 things that I think you could do to check in on your physical health. And like I said, there would be more details in the show notes as well as the blog. So some of the other things that I want to focus on is, and that's a tool to check in on your physical health, is also what we talked about, which is the mindset. And mindset is so important because this is your why. Why do I need to have physical health? And if you don't have that figured out, then I think that it's probably not going to be a priority and something that you make sure that you're practicing on a day-to-day basis. So when we talk about your mindset and your why do you need to be healthy? Is it your family? You want to be able to be present and active and enjoy and all of the things that your family enjoys, or maybe even just running around with your dogs, something like that, or your energy levels, like we discussed earlier. Taking care of your physical health will make a huge difference on your energy level. So that is really important, and I encourage you to really write that down and have that in your mind all of the time. This is my why. This is why I practice proper nutrition. I have a healthy exercise routine, and I practice mindfulness. This is why I do those things. So that's really number one that I would encourage you to do. Number two, I think is really important is pleasure. So what does being healthy add to my life, and what are some of the amazing things that I will be able to do when I have a healthy life? And some of the people that have asked about this have mentioned so many great and wonderful things, including I would be able to travel to Italy and climb up all of the stairs and the ruins, and I would be able to play with my grandchildren, and just some simple things that bring you so much pleasure that you want to think about when you think about why you want to be healthy and what that means to your life and to your enjoyment of life, right? So pleasure is important, but the one that really gets people, and this is the one that's the game changer, that changes the mindset, is pain. And what pain would it bring to you to not be healthy, to have a diagnosis of diabetes, of hypertension, or even worse, cancer? What would that mean to your life, and what kind of pain would that cause you and your family? And for example, lifestyle choices that you make that aren't healthy, what kind of pain does that provide to your family? A good example again is smoking. When you smoke, you are really spreading that to the rest of the people in your household. No matter where you do it, it's definitely on your clothing. It affects them and everyone else. So that's a lifestyle choice that really is bringing pain to the rest of your family. So thinking about it in those terms is really important, and I think is really the game changer on whether or not you start to make these healthy lifestyle choices. So I hope that this has helped you really have a better understanding of what it means to be healthy, the knowledge and how important that is, answering that question. So it's not because you're skinny, it's not because you can run a marathon or have a good blood pressure. It's really that your organ systems are working in an optimal way. And some of the tools that you can use in order to check in on your health, on your physical health, and see how that's going. And then number three, really creating that mindset that's so important and really is the most important in making those healthy lifestyle choices and changes. So we look forward to joining us on this journey. Our next episode will be discussing a healthy exercise routine with one of my favorite girlfriends and trainers. And we look forward to sharing that with you. So stay tuned to listen for that as well. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and check out our website for the blog and for a nice worksheet to fill in that you can use even to take to your doctor's appointments. Will help you in checking in on your physical health. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to sharing more.